Now we will start with the topic of germination of seed. Now what does the term mean? Germination is considered as the entire process that involves the sowing of seed to the development of a young sapling of the plant. Thus this the entire process which is carried out from the sowing of the seed to the development of a young sapling of the plant constitutes the germination. Definitely, in order to carry out or the development of a sapling of the plant, it is essential for various factors that helps in the germination process. These factors mainly includes water, oxygen, that is O2, third, temperature. As we have discussed earlier, that a proper amount of temperature which generally range from 28 to 30 degree, it is essential for the increasing growth of the plant. Then comes nutrients. Thus, these are the few essential factors which are responsible in order to carry out the germination process. And thus, after a period of dormancy, when the seeds restart the germination process, these factors should be available in a proper amount in order to carry out or restart the germination process after dormancy. Now let us understand that how the process of germination begins. As said, the germination begins from the sowing of the seed. Now as we all know that after the seed is sown, proper amount of water should be supplied to it. Thus, water in a proper ratio should be supplied. As a result of supplication of water to the seed that is sowed, the seed coat becomes swelled and loose. And why does it occur? Because when the water is supplied to the sowing seed, then due to imbibition of water within the seed coat swells. In this manner, the seed coat becomes loose and swelled. After this, the embryo becomes active. And since the embryo becomes active, thereby with the help of essential enzymes and nutrients, such a digestion process is carried out within endosperm or cotyledon. Thus, the entire digestion process of the seed is carried out within endosperm or cotyledon, but this digestion process can be carried out only if the necessary enzymes or nutrients are present. As a result, the embryo and thereby seed becomes more active in function, as a result of which root system and shoot system starts developing. As we have studied earlier, The root system is formed by the collection of roots. And how does this root develop? The root develops from the radicle that is present within the seed. And this root that develops initially from radicle is known as primary root, which comes out from the micropyle. And this initial stage of developing primary root is known as sprouting. Thus, sprouting can be defined as the development of primary root from the radicle that comes out from the micropyle. As we have already seen in our day-to-day routine, when the bean seeds or any other pulses are allowed to remain soaked for about few hours, then the development of sprout begins, which can be seen in small amount. Thus, this primary root together constitutes the root system. Similarly, shoot system is also formed that develops from the plumule. Now this shoot system comprises of the other parts, that is stem and leaves. In this manner, the three most important organs of the plant, that is root, stem and leaves, starts developing and produces a new sapling from the parent plant. However, during this process, a high respiratory rate is maintained. This occurs due to the presence of sufficient oxygen within the seed. Apart from enzymes, there are a few hormones which take part in the development of a young sapling by making the embryo active and carrying out the processes like cell division, differentiation and elongation. And thus the entire process of germination occurs. This figure depicts the germination of a bean seed and maize seed, that is germination of a dicot and monocot, whose structure we have already studied in the previous sections. Thus this is all about the germination of seed, whether in dicots or monocots. Now let us start with a specialized method of germination known as viviparous germination. As discussed earlier, generally in majority of the species of a plant, the general germination method occurs for the development of a young sapling of the plant. But viviparous germination is a special type of germination which occurs only in few species of the plant. That is special type of vegetation method for the development of a young sapling. It occurs in plants that occurs under the group mangroves. As discussed earlier, mangroves are the plants that are located in the region near the seashore. Examples for such mangroves include plants like Rhizophora and Avicennia. Now, how does the germination occurs? This figure depicts the mangroves plant that exhibit the viviparous germination. In this method, the germination of seed occurs within the fruit that is attached to the parent plant. That is, within the fruit, this entire germination of seed is carried out. And this fruit is attached to the parent plant. Thus, development of a sapling occurs within the fruit. Gradually with time, as the weight of the sapling increases, then that germinated seed or fruit falls below. That is, falls on the ground, which gradually with time develops lateral roots and develops a proper establishment within the ground region. In this manner, a young sapling of the plant develops, whose germination initially begins within the fruit that is attached to the parent plant, but later on it develops as a young sapling that occurs in a separate manner.